school and all that, that was up north, and that was out west. But all of us that were from the South, I would be considered well educated because I'd been to high school. Finally, I got my GED and all that stuff. But our people, that's why you didn't. If you took it back to the 30s when they had to write a letter, they copied it. They had to copy it on that. The paper you could put over this and you could see through it and you could copy this just like it's written on here. Anyway, this book, The Philosophy of Islamic Teaching, I like to just read a little bit about it because the talk we're going to have today deals with evolution and growth. And it says, Philosophy of Teaching of Islam, Hadrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the promised Messiah and Mahdi. Now, if you remember, and the back of used to be Muhammad Speaks, or even where they had about the promised Mahdi, all right. That was Elijah Muhammad that they was talking about. But here they said a promised Messiah. Messiah is the Masih, and Mahdi. So he's the Messiah and he's Imam Mahdi. See, if Esau is Mahdi, if Esau is the Messiah and Imam Mahdi is to come, and they're going to be in Jerusalem at the same time, and they're going to call the Adhan for Isa alayhi salam. They're going to call the Adhan, and then Esau, they're going to say Esau lead the prayer. He's going to say, no, the Adhan was called for Imam Mahdi. In other words, Imam Mahdi and Esau, according to Hadith, right, that we have, they would be on the scene at the same time. So they're two different persons. Right here, this says that Hadrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, the promised Messiah, he's the Messiah and Mahdi. So he's both. And the only place you find this is places like in the Nation of Islam. I don't want to go backwards, but we was having a big dinner in South Africa. And when I was speaking, I was giving a talk before Juma, not the Juma, in Johannesburg. And then after that, what's the name in the nation? I'll think of his name in a minute. He's number 2. He goes all over Africa after Farag. I think his name in a minute. Okay, so after the talk, we had dinner over at one of the big carpet factories. One of the wealthy Muslims. We had dinner over there. And he was telling me, well, you shouldn't tell them that you were a drug dealer and what have you, and because they'll have it in their mind. I said, no, that's a great selling point for Islam. I said, Malcolm, all those people, they pointed out that that's the life they was living, and we accepted Islam, and that's a big selling point for Islam, that, hey, if I was this far deviated, and then you think I'm straight now, just stick around. This deen gets you straight, good, right? So that's a selling point. Anyway, he told me, if I can remember, so I could see he wasn't repentant at all, because at that time, Farrakhan had taken about his 4th Shahada. At that time, I think it's 5 or 6 by now, at least. And so there was groups over there calling themselves the Nation of Islam, with that old principle, the black man is God and the white man is the devil. And they were making Farrakhan real popular. You got to remember that stuff was going all over the world. You don't see it now, but you got to remember during the Million Man March period, they were trying to sell that subject all over, but in Africa it couldn't catch hold because Africa had more experience with real Islam. But they had they had a representative over there, and he got a lot of credibility. He was, and I knew him pretty well. Anyway, we sitting there talking. So the Indian Muslims that were, hosting us, one group was hosting him, the other group was hosting me. So he said, we was talking, so I would ask a few questions every now and then of him to see how the evolution was going along. So when I saw that it was a big stall in the evolution of the group, I asked a question. I said, "So what's Farad Muhammad? He said? He said, well, Farad Muhammad is the Mahdi, and I say, and he's the Messiah too. Yeah. Okay, that's two. Then I said, well, so now what's his position? So he said, he's like Jibril. You know where Jibril brought a message to Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He said, yeah. He said, well, he's like Jibril. I said, oh, so Elijah Muhammad, I said, see, the Christians got Trinitarianism. I didn't know the word, but it is a real word. I said, y'all got quadrilism. You got four. So Elijah Muhammad is a prophet and a messenger. He's the Messiah. He's Imam Mahdi. And he's Jibril. And all mixed in that is Esau. I said, y'all got four. I said, the Christians, they just got three. Y'all got them. Y'all have knocked them out of the box. He was mad. He said, so this is for the audience. We're having dinner, and the other Muslims that follow Quran and Sunnah, they're listening. See, they don't know who they are, right? So that's what I'm doing today. I'm exposing where they are now. Not only are they not progressing, they're regressing. But anyway, you can see where a lot of that stuff come from the Ahmadiyyas, from the Qadianis. A lot of our old people, Rasan, Roland Kirk, a few of the people, Dakota Staten used to be, it was a few musicians. They were Qadianis. They didn't follow the Sunnah. And the reason, and this one of them still alive. He mentioned his name the other day. He's still alive. Anyway, we are very fortunate here in America that we had a chance to go through all of that stuff and evolve. But we evolved without meanness and hatred and what have you. So when I have that translation of Quran, which is basically very good, when I have the religion of Islam, when I had a manual of Hadith, in the old days, that's the only stuff we could get on Islam. And the British backed them up because they didn't push jihad a lot, right? So Maulana Muhammad Ali, he talks about the far jihad, the near jihad, and jihad and nas, which are all real jihad. The far jihad is way over there, The near jihad is right here, what you're dealing with in front of you. And you can't do none of them unless you take care of jihad and nafs, the jihad to control yourself. Anyway, Maulana Muhammad Ali deals with this. I'm going to speed up here. The point is this, is that we've come in contact with a lot of stuff here in America. And Allah done blessed us to evolve through it, you know, to look at it, understand it, and da-da-da-da. And we don't have enmity toward like those people, our brothers. So I talked with the brother yesterday, and I was talking about Islamic unity and dealing with the fundamental principles of Islam and leaving the details to everybody else. So if your details is you're Shia, then good. All those details that relate to that, but we all agree on if you eat our meat, if you face our Qibla, you say La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, right? And you believe in Allah and Muhammad, then you're home free, right? This is what the hadith says. This is the framework for Islam. Over the history of humanity, see, a lot of people think it's 6 madahib, 4 Sunni and 2 Shia. This, no. In the beginning, there were literally hundreds of madahib, hundreds. Here's why. If a group of people went to China, which several did, and they took Islam, that's why it's Muslims in China. They went all the way to China. And guess what? The group of people taught Islam from what they knew, right? And they did a good job. Another group that went to Syria, going the other way, they were Sahaba too. They taught what they knew of Islam. But see, so everywhere in the world, everybody taught what they knew of Islam, the Sahaba. And no Sahaba just knew everything about Islam. So all the fundamentals they had down pat, but there are some little derivatives that they were not familiar with. That's when the collection of hadith come. The collection, Al-Muwatta, is over 100 years after. It's the first collection of hadith, Al-Muwatta, Imam Malik, I think. And those are hadith from the people of Medina only. He didn't take it from people, because he knew Medina is a spot where this jumped off at, or where it sustained itself. So I'm not taking any hadith. Is everybody familiar with Al-Muwatta? Muwatta, it's a collection of hadith. Then Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, Sahih Bukhari might have collected 300,000 hadith, let's say. But he only kept 9,000 of them. I mean, he kept the others in a separate book, but the ones that he called Sahih, it was several thousand, not 300,000. Imam Muslim also collected several, 100,000, and he kept 4,000 in his Sahih of Muslim. Sahih just means genuine. So any hadith you find in either Bukhari or Muslim is considered genuine. I mean, it's a long process of research to go through, the whole process of whether this is Sahih, whether it's broken. Okay. So anyway, what people say about themselves. There's a collection of Shia hadith. And I think it's 16,000 in the collection. 5,000 are Hassan and 111 are Sahih out of 16,000. That's what they say. That's what they say. 111. I mean, I got this book out of, I could go right to the library and pull it out, right? You know, there it is. That's okay. So, but that's the standard, the collection of hadith. That's why some of the stories don't fit. Many of the stories are like